I'm present. But what a fucking day it's been. Welcome everybody to the stream. I am going to finish up Spyro 1 today. And if I go long, there's a chance I might finish up Spyro 2. Because I haven't played either. Or, not Spyro 2, I'm sorry. We did finish up Spyro 2. Spyro 2 is literally like a one stream type of a game. Just by pure virtue of the fact that Spyro 2 is literally short as fuck. By comparison to the other two, really the only major part of Spyro 2 is getting through Autumn Plains, which is a ton of levels, more than the other two by far, and just moving beyond that. And that's one reason I'm not a huge fan of Spyro 2. I guess over the years, I've gone from really liking it to I mean, I still love it, but I think out of the trilogy, at least as far as world design and world levels go, Spyro 2 is kind of weak. It's definitely weaker than the other two in terms of actual game content. Because by far, there's... like, the whole end of the game feels... I don't even want to say unfinished. It just doesn't have as much to it, which I think is the biggest problem. As much as I love the game, having the game end in such a manner that you don't collect any more talismans, and there's not a fourth world at the minimum to kind of balance it out. You know, it just makes the game feel very weird. Because, like, you go from this nice balanced gameplay of collecting orbs, collecting talismans, and I think it's also just because Spyro 2 at its core is just a fundamentally simpler game than the previous one and the later one. It's kind of why I like Spyro 3 a little more than 2 now. I mean, even in this collection, Spyro has, at least there's homogenization amongst the games, which is nice. Why is my mic stand being so weird today? I've been doing weird shit with this mic stand, I already know. But, I'm trying to keep it so the mic stays pretty consistent. Which is still a nice mic stand. Big ups to Searcher, too. Thank you very much. After all these years, my friend. Thank you very much. But, in all seriousness, though, like, I mean, whatever. Completing Spyro 1 isn't that long. Right? I need to check before I boot into Spyro 3 if I've done everything in Spyro 2. I feel like I beat it and I didn't do any of the bonus stuff. Which would be pretty bad. I gotta check and make sure. Because at the end you gotta do all the mini games and stuff. Really, it's just the balloon mini game. There's the dunk mini game, which is nothing. It's basically just the balloon mini game. Oh, you could feel this one. I think yeah, the Reignited trilogy has blue butterflies, I think, which were not in the original. The original was a very simplistic, was it the coffins? It's a little harder to get lives in the original because you can't butterfly farm. Oops, I do not want to do that. Yeah, the more I play with my Pro Controller, it's just really Animal Crossing where I seem to have that problem of not being able to move forward as much as I should. Right? Yeah. It's just really weird. I'm not sure why. I have no clue why that is. I just remembered X-Men 2 where Wolverine says you picked the wrong house, bub. I'm gonna surprise you, Snowman. I actually never watched X-Men 2. I was not a fan of X-Men ever. Even when I was a kid, I was not a fan of Marvel. I know that my school used to show Spider-Man 1 like during special days or anything like that. They, you know, every school has they wheel out the TV on the cart. They plug it in, and then you all have a nice fun day watching stuff. Nice poppin'. You have a fun day watching stuff. Yeah, we used to have stuff like that. We used to have Spider-Man 1, Shrek 1. I think it was just that. I don't think we had like Shrek 2, maybe. Again, I'm talking about stuff that hasn't happened in over 10 years now that I've been graduated from that school. I think these guys shoot into the air, maybe. No. Okay. You picked the wrong house, fool. You know, I actually do want to play San Andreas Snowman, and I do have it on PC and I do have it on console. I would prefer to play the console version, so maybe that'll be something I do this year. It's a big maybe, though. Believe me when I say that is not on the docket at any time in the near future. Today's stream is mostly just, like I said, I want to wrap up a lot of games that I've been playing. I fucked up. I want to wrap up a lot of games that I've been playing just so that way I can move on and stream games that I haven't gotten around to yet. Because there's a lot of games that I've gotten and I just haven't streamed at all. Oh, fuck me. Okay. That works. Play it? Yeah. No, definitely. Because I played GTA 4. If you can believe it, I kind of want to play GTA 4 again. I really do. Like, I really want to play GTA 4 again. GTA 4, maybe not the DLCs. I want to see if I can get it to work on PC. I know that sounds kind of weird, but they did some tomfoolery with the PC version of GTA. What they did for GTA 4 is they basically took away everyone's copy of the base game of GTA 4 and gave everyone like the Ultimate Edition, which has all three of the games combined. So I actually owned GTA 4 and then the episodes, and basically they took away that and just gave me GTA 4 Ultimate, probably because of the licensing with the music, as you know. Ah, shit. Okay. They had some music licenses expire and stuff because, you know, again, it happens. And so I do want to play that. And I'm not really worried about it as far as YouTube videos go, as long as it doesn't get the videos like taken down and penalize my account. But yeah, the last time I played GTA 4 was 2012, so it's been literally 8 years. I kind of want to play it again because I actually like the game. Beyond some clunkiness and bullshit, I do actually like it. So San Andreas is a high contender for this year. I just don't really like the end, and then there's the meme parts of the game that everyone doesn't like. Catch me if you can! It's definitely going to be something I edit, though, because if I fail missions over and over, as I know from GTA 4, when you fail, you gotta redo everything you just did. Because the true checkpoints did not really appear in GTA until Ballad of Gay Tony. Because that was back when they used to do, like, DLC expansions for, well, anything, really. And now they just don't really do that anymore. And I'm very sad about that. Because I was really looking forward to, like, GTA 5 getting a whole bunch of story-based expansions, maybe continuing the story afterwards and whatnot. And I think it's just clear they're not going to do that. And it is a little sad, because I do think that GTA 5 had a... Actually, I mean, the story was okay. I won't say it was better than 4. I'll say it was better than Lost and Damned. I think you gotta go to the up high. Yeah. I gotta go down here anyway. But like I said, this year is basically a year I'm just gonna focus on cleaning up all the projects I didn't get around to, or all the ones that I half started and then didn't finish, because there's not really a ton of games on the PS5 I'm actually interested in getting. I haven't... My PS5 is supposed to come in 2 days, or rather on Monday. Do I jump from up here? Yeah. It's supposed to come on Monday. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to order just a couple of games just to have for it, because it doesn't come with games. Consoles don't ship with video games anymore. How dare you? And other than that, I mean, most of them are on sale because, to be fair, like, Watch Dogs Legion apparently didn't really do too well. I mean, big surprise. I could have fucking told you that. But moreover than just that alone, it's $30, which honestly is kind of a steal no matter what. Unless the game is literally like 5 hours long, 30 hour or $30 isn't necessarily too bad. And what did I miss? Something way at the beginning? Oh shit. Well, good thing we have this ability. I felt like I missed something at the beginning. Where is it? Oh, hilarious. So yeah, that'll be probably one I do. I want to do Enter the Matrix on the PS2 for some reason. Like, I have it on PS2, and I think I wanted to get it on Xbox Original, and I just never got around to it. So I think that'll be something that I do as well. That'll be like a stream game. Oh my god. I mean, I'll at least say this about this game. It's not until you get to the Switch version, I feel, where the Switch version is actually, like, really, really inferior compared to the other two. Because I know the PC version is, like, top of the line, as it should be. But the PS4 version is pretty much almost the same. Oh, shit. I didn't even get this. I missed a 1. You know, I really wish they would remake Rayman. Just get all the PS1 platformers. Rayman 1 is obnoxious, though. Rayman 2 is kind of the one that I like, and I think a lot of people like, because I think Rayman 1, you have to 100% the game to beat it. And that's why I never beat it. I literally never beat Rayman 1, I don't think. It's a very long and obnoxious game for very little reward and meaningful payoff at the end. Whereas at least Rayman 2, it's kind of more like, yeah, you could beat the game, but 100%ing the game is its own sort of a deal that you can do. I was also looking at a scene from Star Wars where Anakin has over 20,000 midichlorians. If I could be... What? I don't know if that comparison is equivalent. I'll have to disagree. I don't know if midichlorians are comparable to Dragon Ball power level. At all. I would need George Lucas and Toriyama to come together and actually canonize that. When they do that, then I'll believe it. But don't worry, George Lucas is too busy dealing with the white slavers. He has no time for that at all. I think this blows up all of them. No! It actually doesn't. I'll tell you right now, the pigs look way better than they did on the PS1. The pigs in the PlayStation 1 version of this game look just so weird. It's so, like, oh my god. Like, they were pink, which isn't really the problem. It's just more the fact that, like, I don't know, the pigs in the PlayStation 1 version just look really, really weird. It's crazy. Wait, what? I was charging. That's literally not how that works. Unless you can't beat them with charging, but I'm pretty sure you can. Bring J.J. Abrams back? I'm gonna have a controversial take. Like, I think that what he had with Force Awakens wasn't really great. But I think the biggest problem is that they decided to not just let him direct all 3 movies. Like, it's one thing to exclude Lucas and basically anyone who actually knows how to write for Star Wars. I'm not doing the fucking flight level yet. It's one thing to exclude them in general, but I think the big problem comes from the fact that, like, they didn't just have the same person direct the 3 movies and oversee the story. And because basically they brought back JJ because he was either the only one they trusted or the only one willing to direct episode 9, like, it just makes less sense why they had to give away the middle arc to someone completely irrelevant who has admitted he didn't really care that he was writing for Star Wars. It makes no sense to me. Because at least I feel if we had just had one... He actually disappears, oh shit. If we just had one person write the whole thing and direct it, I feel like it would have been better. Just on the basis of the fact that you could... That was close. On the basis of the fact that you just have one dude overseeing the whole thing and he can oversee how he wants it exactly down to the letter for the most part, right? These things still horrify me. Kind of look like Donkey Kong enemies a little bit. And like I was saying to a couple of my friends with regards to Star Wars, like, oh, these frogs are ridiculous. They also appear in that other level The Night Hollow one. As I was saying to a couple of my friends, like, if Filoni and Favreau aren't on it, I really kind of don't care too much. I kind of feel like it's going to ultimately be a waste of time, so... That's just me, though. Like, I personally feel that way. I know they're directing Ahsoka, Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, and maybe, like, one other one that I'm missing. This game was really going to have me get captured by both of those. But, yeah, that's why I'm really kind of looking forward to anything that they put their names on. I'm kind of like, yeah, I think it'll be alright. Anything else, I don't really particularly care. It'll be a wait and see. But, I mean, I think I've waited long enough. Like, after six years into Disney Star Wars, if it ain't good, it probably just won't be good. I don't know how many, like, I always hate being that type of guy where we're gonna have to wait 50 years to see if something pays off. I feel like after a certain point with all the wasted potential and shit, you can kind of just, like, safely say it won't. And if you don't believe me, I mean... Oh, shit. That worked out. Not really, but... But I will be playing some old Star Wars games. The only not old Star Wars game I'm gonna see if I could play is Fallen Order. Because I heard great things about it. Everybody says that's the real good one. Oh my god. Yeah, this room is kind of a mess. Not gonna lie. I've never really dismantled it like this. I've usually just charged right in. And the only reason that works is because the enemies just stand around. And they hide one back here. Thank you. I'm afraid the deflector shield will be quite operational when your friends arrive. I thought that was a Moff Tarkin quote, actually. For half a second. You don't get iconic quotes like that anymore, unfortunately. Even if, like, even if Lucas has a penchant for making very, very overly... Oh, I'm fucked. I slid off the wall. Oh, no, I'm fine. Like, very, very overly elaborate and cheesy dialogue. I kind of like some cheese with some of my stuff. Like, I love Time Splitters. Time Splitters is literally a parody series. It's meant to make fun of shit. It's meant to be cheesy. It's meant to be over the top with crazy shit. Dudes getting injected with fucking things that make them explode and grow big. I think that shit's cool. It's funny. It might be M-rated, but whatever. Fuck it. That's why I think THQ Nordic has the rights to it, and I really hope someday they make another Time Splitters game. Just anything. I wonder if the episode 3 game has some of those lines. Because I tried playing Battlefront now. Battlefront 2 is a little bit clunky to play. And for some reason, oh shit. For some reason, the PC version of Battlefront 2 doesn't really work with controller. I'm not sure why. But the PC version of Battlefront 2 was re-released in, I think, 2009. So it's like one of the earlier Steam Star Wars games for sure. And it just doesn't work. Like I tried to play it with controller because I want to play it with controller. And it just wasn't working out, Chief. I am the Senate. So it's treason then. I just think that people warming up to the prequels after 6 years of Disney Star Wars is absolutely hilarious. Because at the time, the prequels were some of the most shitted on movies. Phantom Menace still is in the complete fucking toilet. With like a 68 on like review sites. Like, people hated a lot of it. And it gets cited to Jar Jar. It gets cited to weird fucking shit. But I think there was way more spirit in those movies, is how I'll put it. It's like, if you love something and you make something poorly, versus if you know you're just doing it for a paycheck and you're just plugging and chugging it out just so it can be done. And I'll always prefer the former, unless, you know, it's like a game and it's literally unplayable. On some level, a game has to be playable. Oh, I hate this jump. This jump is kind of blind. I mean, obviously you see where you're going, but I have no hit points. I have literally nothing. I'm gonna get shanked. Oh shit, they rush you? Don't do that shit. Yeah, without sparks, you realize how annoying this game can be. And there's like no health pickups in this level, like at all. So, oh, okay, it's over there. Yeah, I was talking with some friends, like, what's the best way for someone to get into Star Wars? And we kind of came to the consensus, like, I personally still feel that if you really want to get into Star Wars, you gotta watch it almost in release order, if not canonical order. Because I feel like when you add on everything, I think the way they frame the world is nice. Like, Mandalorian's good, but a lot of what Mandalorian relies on, obviously no spoilers, especially in season 2, is explicitly like fan service and references and characters you may or may not even know or care about. So like the reason why bringing back one of the older characters matters is because we've seen him. Yeah, they auto kill this boar, by the way. We've seen him in other movies, so we're more attached to him. Like, we care about him. We want to see him come back, and especially if you've watched like all the TV series that they've had running. And I think that that's kind of an important thing. Like, without watching the rest of that, I don't think you can really do it in reverse. I could be wrong. Oh, sweet. Full life. But I just personally feel like it's better done the opposite way. I mean, we agreed to disagree. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. And I think either way is perfectly valid if someone has the interest for Star Wars, but that's exactly the thing, is that's how I got into it. Because I watched Phantom Menace, and then I watched the old movies, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. What is with this stuff in the background? Holy shit. Unlimited power. Like, how many... I mean, I don't want to use memes as a judgment on how good something is, but how many sequel trilogy memes do you really get? I say the same thing about Star Wars. I'm sorry, SpongeBob. How many SpongeBob memes do you get from, like, post-movie SpongeBob? Like, most of the big SpongeBob memes are usually from, like, specifically the movie, if not earlier. And, like, on one level, like, you could maybe argue that, oh, well, it's largely because the people who are watching SpongeBob now and are kids don't make memes. But I also kind of don't agree with that, necessarily, because, again, Zoomers are very in touch with the internet. I'd argue that they are the first generation to be raised exclusively on the internet. Because when I was a kid, we had dial-up still. Dial-up was just getting phased out when I was a kid. So it's kind of like, I think by like 2nd or 3rd grade, I had DSL on our shitty Windows XP that I actually got rid of a few years ago. I think I took the hard drive out, but I don't know if I ever read off the hard drive, because now that's something that you can do, is when a computer dies, you could extract the hard drive and get at the information. I actually just did that. I've done that before multiple times, but I just did that with the MacBook that I had ages ago.
Greetings, Spyro.
Thank you, Spyro. I gotta try to remember how to do the tree tops trick. I always say this every fucking time I play this game, and I always forget every single time, because I don't practice this game like back to back enough where it wouldn't matter. Bully Maguire is everywhere. It's Dancing Peter Parker invading other films, like what? Like edited in? I like I like Spider-Man, although I didn't watch, I think I've watched 3. I forget what Spider-Man 2 was, and I know that's the one where everyone cites the game as being, like, amazing. Everybody loves Spider-Man 2, the game. I cannot believe I missed that, and now I gotta go do that again. Everyone always talks about how awesome Spider-Man 2 is. Like, that's one of those movie games that gets mentioned all the time. And I'll be honest with you, the some of the movie games I mentioned, it's like, what, Into the Matrix, SpongeBob, and maybe like a not Spyro, like a fucking Star Wars game. Freeze at a power level of 1 million states you only use 10% of it. Did he lie? Because, I mean, how many times does Frieza have to get his ass kicked? See, that's the funny thing, is I was watching Super, the conclusion of it, with a friend of mine, because it went on Toonami, and I was like, oh shit, I remember, you know, watching very little of this. You know, let me check it out. Let me see what Super's got going for it. And I actually really enjoyed the end of the universe, what is it, the Tournament of Power arc? I really did like that. I liked the ending. I thought it was cool that they took other characters and made them more relevant than they were, even when they were new. And I like the way it ends. I think it was a pretty cool ending, and it ties into some movie somewhere, I'm sure. But, okay, just want to make sure I made that. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. I'm not like a super Dragon Ball head, so I don't know as much about Dragon Ball as like as I do about other anime, like specifically Naruto and even Yu Yu Hakusho. I need to rewatch. One of my favorite pastimes is that Yu Yu Hakusho is just literally on YouTube, just zero fucks given by anyone at YouTube. You know, that was actually a bad thing to do. You can't get over here from there. I just thought about doing that. That doesn't work. But yeah, I mean, it's not just because of the pandemic that, like, I haven't really seen many movies. I don't see many movies in general. Like, unless it's part of a vested interest I have in something, I probably genuinely don't care about it. So, like, anime or something specific like Star Wars, then yeah, maybe I'll give a shit. But otherwise, I probably just don't care. That's not to say a movie's necessarily... Oh, thank you. It's not to say a movie's bad, I just probably won't like it. There's characters in the universe that Toriyama didn't write into the show, like Frieza's brother. Totally canon. Did Frieza even have a brother? Well, I don't know, it depends. Is it a movie? Most anime movies are horrifically non-canon. They get completely glossed over and ignored. I mean, even some arcs are just completely ignored. And that's something I would at least like a video game to do, is specifically reference filler arcs. Because some filler arcs actually have, like, good ideas behind them. Oh, am I gonna die? I always feel nervous making jumps like that. Some filler arcs have, like, actually good ideas behind them. So I know, and there's one filler arc in Shippuden where Naruto meets the Six Tails, which is complete filler, and none of it actually happens. And it actually gets referenced in Storm 3, which I thought was, like, one of the coolest Easter eggs, or just in general inclusions I'd seen in a game in a while. Because it's like this completely interesting but non-canon arc just gets thrust into the spotlight. I thought that shit was cool. I was like, wow, wouldn't it be cool if anime just did this, like, as a whole? Do we even hear about Frieza's brother in Dragon Ball Super? Probably not. I haven't seen all of Dragon Ball Super. I know the end of it, at least up to where it is now. I don't know if they're going to make more of it. I have a lot of friends who do love Dragon Ball. Like, it's their primary anime of choice. And I need to figure out how to do this stupidity. But for me, I'm not, like, a huge fan of Dragon Ball. Where do you start the charge? Is it from there? I know you have to jump around something in, like, a very ghetto way. I don't know how. I hate having... one of these days, I just need to study this shit. I need to play this level 50 fucking times until I get it right. And that's not how you get it right, but luckily, we were able to do that. This isn't right either. Shit, there's a way to do this, obviously, and I've done it. How many times have I played this game for the channel? Like, fucking... There you go, this is it. Oh, he actually runs? Is it the other one that doesn't run once you get up here? They don't even have anything. They just have gems. That's it. Hated this part of the level when I was plating the game. Seems like you're more swift than I was. I played this game since I was literally like 4 or 5 years old. That's the only reason. Welcome to the stream, by the way. I appreciate you stopping by. I always forget it. This is something I have to replay over and over and over again until I get it right. And now I need to do the other charge jump. I don't know if it's... I think the other one's longer, is the thing. And usually I like try to do it in reverse, just because I think it's easier to try to figure it out in reverse. Because you know where you have to launch from, and then where you have to go back. But yeah, platting the original trilogy of Spyro is actually really nice, because it's basically just 100%, and then like a couple random things they threw in for Spyro 1. So one of the things I want to do when I get my Series X is, because the X is completely backwards compatible, that'll be the 4th and final time I'm gonna play through the Spyro Reignited trilogy. I don't think anyone can say then that I don't play it, because I'm gonna play it again for the 4th time, and that'll be crazy. So you have to jump off of this, but I'm not sure exactly where you go from there, honestly. I don't really know. Because someone once told me that I ask for all these remakes and then I don't play them. And then that's just flat out not true. I would love to play more of them. If I had the free time, I most certainly would. Oh, hey, look, I figured it out. I hope I didn't fly too soon. That's like the most creative thing that you have to do, is run up the other one. Oh, come on. Okay. Don't worry, when I play this again in like 5 to 10 months, I'm gonna forget again. And it's gonna be the best part of it. You a master of the supercharge!
Yeah, well, you could have found an easier spot to get stuck.
They might have changed what he said, because I think he said you're a master of the supercharge now. Alright, we're done? Yeah. Something weird is going on outside. What? Oh, shit. Alright, well now we have to do Wild Flight. I flat out don't remember Wild Flight. Wild Flight and Crystal Flight are two that I just never remember how to do. Because if you do them as intended, they're really, like, to the bone. That's why I'm not a fan of it. The speedways in other Spyro games are usually just a bit nicer. Either by giving you a little more time, or the hidden objectives are simpler to find. Stuff like that. So I'm going to do Metalhead first, because I'm already over here. And Metalhead's pretty easy. I think one of the biggest things is just like some of the remakes that I actually like, I cannot really record and play because I don't have any ability to capture 3DS games and DS games. Now that's one of the sad things, is like I want to be able to play those and I just can't. Because I would love to play Samus Returns, because I really did love Samus Returns. I had 6-hour play sessions in that game when it came out. I was thoroughly entertained with Samus Returns. Oh, that's actually what you are supposed to do, is jump from there. And then at some point I want to do a Metroid stream. So what I'll probably do is I'll try to hook up my my sensor bar for my Wii U, and then I won't play Metroid Prime 2 again. Like every couple of years I just gotta play some of these games. Ideally I'd play them every year, if I'm being completely truthful with you. Ideally I would play them every single year, just based on the fact that I like the games that much. And I really ought to, just once a year, because Metroid Fusion is like a once a stream thing. I could probably play that once a month, just for the shits and giggles, and I might very well play it in the near future, because I feel, you know, it's nice to play some of these games over and over again. And between that and Metroid Zero Mission, which I don't know as well, but Zero Mission's annoying at the end. You kind of end up like rolling dice if the space pirates like give you good RNG, and like you could force them to jump. I'm not a fan of it. I don't really like Zero Mission at the end, and plus you got to do a lot of backtracking to try to 100% Zero Mission. I mean, then the fun doesn't even end there, because literally... Oh, I didn't know they'd rush out like that. Literally, I could play the original versions of these, but there's not really a ton of a reason to, unless it's like just for pure nostalgia. Oh wow, okay, cool. Which I will someday. Like I said, one of the reasons I wanted to get the Vita is because I wanted to play Spyro 1 on the Vita, which is only something you could do if you hack it. My Vita still works. Oh, shit. But yeah, I do think Spyro 3 is my favorite of the trilogy. Like I was saying, Spyro 2 just... it's missing too much. That's the real thing that I hate, is that Spyro 2, if it had one more world, kept with the talismans, and had like the orbs and maybe like one other collectible, then maybe I would be really on point. And even if they didn't add an extra collectible, it's just two worlds that actually feel developed, and then just whatever we got for Winter Tundra is kind of meh. Like I've done 1,000 times in the past, you can beat Spyro 2 if you just 100% everything up to, what is it called? If you 100% everything up to Winter Tundra, you can beat Spyro 2 immediately. As soon as you get to Winter Tundra, you could just go right into Ripto's room and beat the game. My commentary is on point. Today's an off day, I'll be honest with you. The days I record is when my commentary is on point. That I'll tell you for a fact. If I didn't record that day, my commentary is not on point for one reason or another, but I appreciate it. Oh no, you get the key. And it's also, this is a game that I've played so many times, there's just not too much to say. I could actually do commentary about other stuff, because, I mean, what do you want me to say about Spyro? Spyro 1. This game is literally almost as old as I am. I thought there was another way you get out of here. Yeah, this is it. Because you jump around. That's right. I forget where the locked chest even is. I think it's at the end of the level. Should probably do Icy Flight and the other flight and just get them done and out the way. So I don't have to think about it. But yeah, I want to do Spyro Season of Ice and Spyro Season of Flame. I rebought all of those GBA games because one of the biggest mistakes in my gaming career was selling some of these old games. So like I am going to eventually redo that. Thank you. Oh, here we go. That was a threefer. And then after a certain bit, I'm going to try to do Resident Evil again. Because I wanna play Resident Evil on stream. I want to redo the knife only under 3 hours no saving run, which is actually easy up until like 3 points in the whole game. There's a couple of instant death traps in Resident Evil 1, but for the most part it's actually kind of easy to get through the game knife only, largely because you're not going to backtrack as much, especially as Jill, because you're able to actually carry the items you need to solve puzzles. And I think that's perhaps the biggest issue with Spyro 2, or I'm sorry, Resident Evil 1, is like Chris is a great character, but having him be limited to 6 items just makes the game not fun, in my opinion. Like, even with the small keys and stuff, like, it's a completely different route. He literally teleported. And I would like to learn it, but it takes time and effort. And honestly, I'd rather just do Jill's run again, and then just redo Resident Evil 2, the remake. Oh shit, I forget he actually shoots anything at you. Boss fight. Yeah, Spyro 1 doesn't really have boss fights in the traditional sense. The original is my favorite, played on PS2 forever ago, and finally got to play the trio on PS4. That's good. Yeah, I love it too. I love that the PS2 was backwards compatible. I was always jealous of people who had PS2s from when they were kids, because both of my PS2s are kind of fucked up, and I would really love to get a new one. Granted, like, most of the games I actually care about on the PS2 have been ported, but no, the fact that the PS2 was basically, I think, almost 100% backwards compatible is pretty fucking brolic. Like, no lie, that's really cool. There's a reason why that console sold the fuck out, and I'd argue it was because of that. I think you could even use PS1 memory cards on it, but only for PS1 games. Like, you could do everything on that console, which is insane. Sony just shows up and has all this cool shit in their console. Like I said, my cousin had a PS2. And honestly, I should have asked him if I could have had it years ago, because I knew it was in good shape. I should have asked him back in 2012 when he was probably not going to ever use it again. It's unfortunate, but that's life. Alright, I'm going to do the flight levels back to back, just so they're out the way, because I never remember any of them. But no, like, part of that is, like, I am glad that you did get to play the trio, because that's why I like it when they remake games like this, you know? Like, Sony had the whole big campaign during the PS3 to remake old games, and I like it when they do that, because people can re-experience it, whether or not they played it before. And, you know, for people like me, it's like, wow, I get to look how good this game looks compared to how it was originally. It's such a nice thing. Yeah, both of mine are messed up too. I have so many old games that's nostalgic. I lost a lot of data because the card screw up. Yeah, you and me both. I had the same problem with my GameCube. Both my good memory cards dropped all the data, so I had to re-get everything. Profoundly annoying. This is Switch, yes. But I specifically... Oh, let me restart this. Jeez, that's all... Chests, arches, planes, and then boats. I don't think you do it in that order at fucking all. This is the Switch version, yeah. This is Switch. This is probably the worst version of it. Just FYI. Oh my god, I hate this one. I think like at the start you're supposed to just do boats first. I did a playthrough of this on the PS4. I might have streamed the PC version before. Oh no, that's not what I wanted. I own every version of this but the series or the Xbox One. God, their naming convention is terrible. Was 720 really that bad of a naming decision over at Microsoft? Like did they really hate it that much? Are you kidding me? Just, oh my god. This one's the most frustrating one. Yeah, that's why I specifically I want to get 100 on all the different Spyro games on all the consoles, just because I like it that much. Oh, fuck. This is the worst one. Because if you do chests, you end up going to the other side of the map. And then I guess you would end up doing planes first, which doesn't really make any sense to me. Because, like, you can technically do this. Whatever weird bastardized version of this level. Like, that's why I don't like this level. This is the most confusing speedway level in the whole series for me. And I really think this is just the best route to go. Oh yeah, I'm feeling it. I actually have Battle for Bikini Bottom on the Switch too, but I literally just played that this year, so I'm gonna wait a little bit before I play it on the Switch. I should have bought the PS4 version, and I didn't. That's actually a mistake, and I should have bought the PS4 version. That is a mistake that I made. I should not have bought the Switch version. Switch multiplats are kind of trashy. Oh. So if you do this, you actually don't get all the boat. I hate this. So do you just do 2 loop-de-loops? I'm really happy when the Switch came, or when the Trio came out. You have everything. My goodness, all the flying levels, you have no idea. It makes me so upset. I do have Splatoon 2. I don't play it at all. I played that on PS2 and I want the Rehydrate so bad. Yeah, that's the one game I'm glad that they actually knuckled down and remastered. I hate this. This is the worst. But yeah, I played that on the GameCube. Basically everything that I played on GameCube as a kid. And by far, I love Battle for Bikini Bottom. And that's why I was really hyped when THQ Nordic did that and remade it. It's pretty much one of my favorite platformers, I feel. Because, like, everyone cites Mario 64. I wasn't really, like, super hugely blown away by Mario 64. That might be the controversial opinion, even though, like, obviously I didn't grow up with it and I played it after the fact. But I'm not a huge fan of Mario 64, like, at all. Where is he? Oh, if you hit X, you can't fly again. So it's actually better to fly into a wall and regain control and then hop out. That's dumb. That's why I hate this speedway is probably the hardest level in the game for me. No, you're doing it wrong. Here's the foolproof IGN method of doing it. Oh my god. I mostly play single player games on my consoles now, largely because wait, what? I don't even know what hit me at all. That's interesting. Pretty awesome. I don't have much knowledge on that. Yeah, it's fine. Like, specifically, I usually just play single player games on my consoles. That's just generally because you got to pay for online now, and it's on everything, and I'm just not a fan of doing it at all anymore. I just don't play as many multiplayer games as I used to. When I was in high school, I played a shit ton of multiplayer games. I played basically everything that was a shooter was multiplayer, and I played it, and I just don't do that anymore because I feel like it's kind of a waste, you know? Do they, like, fire rockets at you? Because I have no clue. Oh, I hit the thing. That's what it was. Yeah, because once you do this, this takes you to the other part of the level. That's why I don't want to ever do this. Hey, look, the level's incredibly easy once you do that one fucked up part. Once you do the beginning, the level is incredibly easy. I don't know how, I don't even know, whatever. Yeah, like, that's what I mean. That one speedway is not straightforward at all, in the slightest, and that's why I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I'm really hoping they make Spyro 4, because they made Crash 4, they made the Crash, I think Beanox made the Crash Team Racing nitro-fueled game like last year. They're doing like basically one game a year. Now granted, I don't think they're going to do anything for this year, given everything going on, and just in general, I don't think they want to necessarily oversaturate the market again, because that's originally why these games kind of fell out of the loop. But I would love it if, like, in a year or two they made Spyro 4, like a true Spyro 4, and not Enter the Dragonfly, that, like, that garbage that we got for that. I always cite it, Enter the Dragonfly is the Sonic 2K6 of Spyro. And again, this franchise might be as long-lived, but in all seriousness, like, it basically has all the hallmarks of 2K6. It was released super quick. It was literally just shit out just so they could make a quick buck off the name Spyro while it was still popular in the 2000s. It's like, yeah, wow. I'm about to go to college. I want to make time to play anything, I feel like. I used to play alone a lot, but I understand having to pay for multiplayer. It sucks. Yeah, it's just the way things are, right? Like, Microsoft charges for it, so then Sony, of course, is going to say, well, why the fuck won't we also charge people for it? And then obviously Nintendo is just going to say, well, we could also charge for it too. So it's just, it's once one company can get away with one thing, every company is going to try to get away with everything. And it's like, on one hand, it's fairness, right? It's like, why can Microsoft charge for online and we can't? But on the other hand, it's also like, well, great, now these games are probably not worth the money. But when I went to college, oh god, excellent. When I went to college, I still had time to play stuff. Of course, that was a lifetime ago. But my college was really intensive. Back in 2013 and 2014, I was getting my ass kicked. And it was specifically 2013, like fall of 2013 was like one of the most hectic and hyped up like years in gaming in recent memory. You know, you had GTA 5, Diablo 3, Kingdom Hearts remasters. Like, everything came out in fall of 2013. And I do playthroughs on YouTube. I actually don't know if you're on Twitch or YouTube, but on my YouTube channel I do playthroughs. And by far the most crazy part about it is, like, every day I was recording something and pumping out videos, and 2013 was just crazy. It was awesome. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Hopefully, hope to see you again. I'm gonna be playing Spyro 3, probably this stream and another one or two. I do kind of miss the rush of 2013, where you just get like back-to-back games constantly. The whole time, there was always something to do in Spyro 3. You can kill these guys. You can't kill the other ones. Actually, you could just do this. Which is actually kind of funny, because I remember GTA 5 was one of the first games you had to install on your 360. I don't think many other games required installations, and then that was right after fucking Blacklist, and Blacklist came out like a week or so around the time of Pikmin 3, and that whole year was just like dumping game after game after game. It was fucking crazy to think that all these big games came out literally all at the same time, basically. Shit was just crazy. We're never gonna get a year like that again. I think we're gonna have maybe a couple years that get close, but we're never gonna have a year where just everything was coming out back to back like that. Like, to the point it's literally like every 2 weeks there was at least another big game. And then also in August were the Tales games, or Zillia. I played Graces earlier that year. Awesome. I walked right into that. Alright, I know you have to fly certain places. That's what I mean, like, Spyro 1 gets you 5 worlds. Spyro 2 just gets you 3, and even though I like the levels a lot in Spyro 2, like, I don't know, man. I gotta look into the development logs, or you know, the documentation of how the development went. Because I really do feel like there's something definitely missing from Spyro 2. I gotta look at, like, what the cut content was for it. Because I used to look at the cut content for, like, Pokemon. Even Pikmin 1, I think, was supposed to have a multiplayer mode, and they never got around to it. I'm actually a little lucky. Oh, it's homing. I never knew that. Does he ever light his thing? I don't think this one does. He's a bona fide asshole. Through and through. What? I somehow canceled my own flame. Ah. The roll is actually better in the other games, which is actually hilarious. The roll is a good ability. It's actually, I think, a little faster in this game. Can you even fly over there? I don't think you can. Don't worry, the next project will be to 100% all the Spyro games on every console I own them, without copying the save file. That's like a lifelong thing. I'll have that done in like 5 years, because playing these games too much, playing them too much is actually going to desensitize them to me. But I'm pretty sure I also played the Spyro games in 2013, because I used to have a calendar for the games I would play. And I'm pretty sure that on that calendar, which I had on a laptop that I still have, which is an old as fuck laptop, it's like 20 years old at this point. I had this, I used to have deadlines to complete playthroughs. And that didn't work out too well. That led to some of the worst burnout on certain games in my life. So I'm never doing that again. I think I have to go the other way now. Okay. Oh no, this is just how you get back. So what the hell? Oh. I feel like I've missed these before. I have really 5 dragons in that level. I feel like I've missed those exact ones before as well. This looks like the backdrop from like a Star Fox mission. This is like Sector Y. Star Fox is like really, really weird gameplay, because the games I actually like from Star Fox are not at all like what the series standard is. But of course, we're talking about the series standard of a game, of a series that has what, like 3 games that are almost exactly the same, or are the same. Like Star Fox 64 is just a remake of a Star Fox NES. SNES, I'm sorry. Alright, I'm actually a little lucky there. Dreamweaver levels are kind of actually my least favorite in the game. They just happen to be like a lot of work is really what it comes down to. It's like a lot of the levels require you to do like not even strats, it's just a lot of stuff. Which one's Lofty Castle? Oh, I don't like either. I don't like any of the 3 Dreamweavers levels. I like Clifftown. I like, you know, I like some of the basic levels. There's Ice Cavern is kind of cool. You got some good music on that. Dr. Shemp is probably my favorite boss. He just looks cool. I was like Haunted Towers, Lofty Castle, and I don't even remember what the last one is. Something Hallow. Because there's a lot of gliding for some of these levels. And there's a supercharge in this level as well. Do you just jump from there? I will say though, some of the most iconic Spyro levels are definitely Spyro 2 levels. Like Hurricos. Basically all of Summer Forest I feel is like really iconic. You got like a lot of good levels in there. That's what I mean, like Spyro 2 I think is the best level design out of the trilogy. For sure. Whereas Spyro 3 like wants to have a bunch of references and stuff like that, which is fine. I just think Spyro 2 does a lot with its levels. That was weird. Really also shouldn't happen. Okay. I also need to get 99 lives. That'll be like the last thing I do, is on every file get 99 lives. Which I'm sure is easier on some games than others. Spyro 3 might have it maybe the easiest, I'm not too sure. I forget what you have to do to get extra lives in Spyro 2. I mean, I think it just ultimately comes down to flaming enough creatures. Because I think you get 1 extra life every 10 that you flame. So that's kind of decent, right? Like, you're not losing too much time. At least it's guaranteed. You could at least farm lives. Although I don't know anyone who had to farm in a Spyro game. This series isn't exactly as difficult as, like, Crash. Even at its peak, it's not as difficult as Crash Bandicoot. I already messed up. I gotta do it again anyway. Ah, damn it. It's kind of odd that people always pair Spyro and Crash together, when Crash games are like way more difficult than any Spyro game ever was. Except maybe like Enter the Dragonfly. But Enter the Dragonfly is difficult just because the game itself is completely unfinished. It's completely unfinished. It's way too difficult. Just because like the mechanics are terrible. The game has awful lag upon startup. The voice lines play out of nowhere and are just terrible sounding. Like everything about that game. There's like literally zero redeeming qualities to that game. Oh fuck, okay. Other than the fact that it's Spyro, basically. Which is, unfortunately and ironically, the only reason the game probably was created in the first place was because it was a Spyro game and Spyro was popular. If Spyro wasn't around and wasn't popular, they would have never made that game. The only reason it exists is because Spyro was popular and successful still. And ironically, the game just killed Spyro a little bit. I don't think anyone is super... Oh, nice. I don't think anyone is super hyped to play Into the Dragonfly. If people even remember that game at all. I didn't mean to do this again. I didn't even know you could walk right onto it. I thought you had to jump. See, I'm so used to not pressing X in this game, because what it does is it just makes you drop. Oh, I didn't make it. It just makes you drop, and you generally never use that in Spyro 1 at all, because it just usually will spell death. At least with the hover, which is the only thing that's not shared between games in this game, is the hover. At least with the hover, you can get a little bit of extra air. It's very helpful. The hover itself is like, it would kind of break this game though. So I totally understand why it's not. You can hit that far away? I totally understand why it's not in this game at all, because it would completely break this game. Or maybe it wouldn't, but I mean, you never know, right? Like, it could make you clip up some stuff that you shouldn't be able to clip up. You have to get creative with all your skips in this game. Because it's a lot of power to be able to give yourself an extra jump. But what the nice part about it from a gameplay perspective is that it actually gives you a lot of sureness in your jumps. And someday I'm going to play all the Ratchet and Clank games. I'm pretty sure I have like all the main ones. So someday I'm going to marathon Ratchet and Clank to the point I hate myself, just like I did God of War all those years ago. Because that was one of the nice things that they did, is that a lot of the PS2 games that were really popular got ported into collections. And so like the Jack collection, the Sly collection, Prince of Persia, Splinter Cell, Ratchet and Clank, and I basically more or less bought all of them. And I just never played any of them, which is the other damning part. Is that a lot of these were playthroughs that I would have done if 2015 and 2016 and 2017 weren't awful, terrible years for me. I would have legitimately played a lot of those games, because I think it's ideal to have like some balance of old games and new games to play on a channel. Oh no. Are we actually done with the level? I mean, obviously you are, but did I miss something? I feel like I missed something. Unless this last portion gives us the 50. Haunted Tower has more, because you need to do the charge to like jump around the map or whatever it is. Yeah, see, we're missing more. Can you make that? Yeah. I've never had to do that before. Oh, I had the key and I never used the key. That's still not everything. I missed a yellow. I actually forget what all the trophies are for this. Speaking of platinuming them, I just assume it's stuff like collect all the treasure, reach 117. You know what it is? It's around here. It's so amazingly hidden that not even I would find it. It's stuff like that, but legitimately, getting the platinum on this game is just as simple as beating it 100%. Which doesn't even involve necessarily anything crazy. I think the worst minigame to try to beat is Spyro 3's sledding minigame, because I just feel like you just gotta quit and reset until you get a good lead. You take out a couple of the ones that are really, really annoying, like the second, third, and fourth place, and you could just go right ahead to the finish line and just score, or I'm sorry, soar ahead scot-free. Because I remember having a lot of annoyance and difficulty with some of those. So I'm not a huge fan of it. Oh shit. I felt like that B button press did not come out right. It could be my B button is fucked up. But it seems to work for the most part pretty fine. Because it is when I run in Animal Crossing, it's not really when I walk in it. So it could just be holding B is like fucked up for me. I don't know. Okay. Does one shot hit both of them? I mean, I honestly should just do that while I'm here and ahead, because that's the only thing that really gates you out of... It did it again, by the way. Holy shit. It's the only thing that gates you out of anything, is you need to be able to get up here. And every time you want to get up here, you gotta shoot the cannon. Oh, wow. Do you have to get to it maybe before? No, okay. Like, the peak of your jump in this game is actually, like, surprisingly high. That's fine. It's at least higher than I expect. I might just record tonight, at least for like an hour or two. While I'm in the mood. I did it again! Oh my god! I'm dead! Oh no, okay. I can totally do this. Wow. It might actually just be the B button on this controller then. Because walking is fine. That's so weird. And I definitely have the Animal Crossing streams as proof that weird shit happens. Okay, thank you. Alright. I'll fucking complete this and be done. Thank the Lord. Nothing here? Perfect. I don't even remember this one. I'll remember it in a second. Can't believe James Bond game coming out by Hitman developers. Could you honestly think of a better developer for it too? This is some of the best news I've ever seen, man. I mean, like, Activision, in theory, the Call of Duty devs wouldn't be bad for it if they were willing to do the level design and put the work in. But I think by the end of it, all they wanted to do was just, you know, plug and chug out very simple to make, very simplistic, easy to play games. I know I never uploaded my, what's the game called again? Actually, can I redo this? What's the game called? The one that came out that had no cliffhanger? I played it. Bloodstone. I originally played Bloodstone Snowman. I never uploaded the actual playthrough of it that I did, but I played Bloodstone, and I was just so disappointed by it. It's just this weird cartoonish fucking ride. Oh my god. Is this weird cartoonish ride of stupidity, and then at the end of it, they sequel bait for a sequel that literally never happened. And obviously at this point, if it hasn't happened by 2020... I'm sorry, we're in 2021. If it hasn't happened by 2021, and that game originally came out in fucking 2012. No, that game came out in 2010, 2011. It's not happening, period. If the Hitman devs are getting contracted to make another Bond game before Activision is, it's not happening, Chief. So I kind of gave up hope on it. It's this weird Bond game that just ends in a fucking cliffhanger for no real reason at all. No rhyme, no reason. It's just they thought that it was going to take off and be popular, and it wasn't. It's like, remember when the Saw series had games? Because Saw actually had a bunch of games, and Konami thought they had 2 games, not a bunch. But Konami thought that meant they were going to sell Saw games, and it was going to be like their antithesis to Silent Hill. And that did not happen, as I probably don't even need to remind you. Whether or not you like Saw, none of that actually happened. Hey, look, this one's even easier. Like, there's people who can make a good Bond game. I just hope it's not too much Hitman-esque, you know? Like, I get that Bond has a stealth element to it, and I know that they're gonna nail that cold, but I don't want it to be a Hitman clone. Because I really don't want to, I just don't want it to be too much of a Hitman game. I get that, like, don't make it super realistic. Because a lot of the charm of the old Bond games was that, you are a little bit of a tank, but, you know, like, there was fun in it. You know, that's what made Nightfire so fucking fun. I rather enjoy watching Destroy All Humans remake. I can remember completing the PS2 version last year. That also did come out this year, yes. It's just I never really played Destroy All Humans. I wasn't a fan of it. But that did indeed come out last year. And to my knowledge, is it Crypto? One of the characters in it is voiced by Invader Zim and Billy from Billy and Mandy. And that I didn't even know that until I listened to it. I'm not sure if that was in the original, but that's how it is in the remake. And I was like, that's fucking cool if you even remember what Billy and Mandy is in, you know, the year 2020. You basically, you watch the TV show as a kid is how I'd have to summarize that. Well, this matters because we got to enter another portal anyway. I just didn't get it because I never played the original. I think the original like was an Xbox game as well, and it was on the 360 as like an Xbox Originals or whatever it was. Because that's actually how I originally played Spyro: A New Beginning, was because they added it to the Xbox Original lineup back in like 2010 or something. And I was like, hey, look, it's that game I never played that's a beat 'em up, and I hated it. I was right to hate it because it was fucking garbage. Better than Enter the Dragonfly, though, so maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh on that regard. Because Enter the Dragonfly is just not even a finished game. I think that's the biggest problem with it, is it's just not a finished product, period. That's why, like, people complain about Cyberpunk, but from what I can see from it, from my friends playing Cyberpunk, at least you could beat Cyberpunk. There it is, there's the last gem. Oop. You can't, like, you could also beat Into the Dragonfly. It's just really, really worse. Like, you can't even get out of a loading screen into the Dragonfly without the game lagging. And it's like, what are you lagging for? It's like this. Like, you see that kind of lag? Into the Dragonfly has that kind of lag just during normal gameplay. Not even during loading, where it doesn't matter what happens, you know? It's fucking sad. It really is sad that they released a game like that, and they play tested it, and they looked at it, and they said, yeah, this is the kind of product we want to staple our name to. This is exactly what we'd want to do. Yeah, it's really kind of a tragedy that that's what they thought was acceptable. And I mean, they got punished for it. Like, people fucking, the game got fucking roasted. But the fact is that they still played it, saw that, and were like, yeah, this is what we'll release this year. It's beyond me. It's really kind of sad. Alright, let's get my kiss. You're actually kind of a connoisseur of old games, Snowman. So I'm pretty sure... Have you ever heard of a game called Evo? there's actually two versions of it. There's the not PlayStation 1. There's an SNES version, which is kind of like a side-scrolling platformer, of course, because that's literally all that fucking generation was. And then there's a PC like DOS version of it that only was released through a patch. I actually heard about it again recently, and I was like, you know what? That would be a kind of a cool game to play. It's one of those games I would love to see get remastered, you know, for $10 or something. No, that wouldn't be too terrible. It'll never happen. I think part of the problem with Enter the Dragonfly is that people didn't find unique ways to really evolve Spyro's gameplay. Which I think kind of made Insomniac's whole thing about leaving Spyro alone come true. Because no one really found a unique way to continue making Spyro fun after the original 3. I think A Hero's Tale gave an honest-to-God attempt. So for what it's worth, I can't be salty at them. I don't think they failed too hard. It's just that the odds weren't very much in their favor to begin with, especially after Enter the Dragonfly. And then the original timeline of Spyro ends. I mean, they had the GBA games, but it ends with Shadow Legacy, which wasn't good either. And damn near looks like it reused artwork from the other games. Evo for PS2, wasn't that the like? No. It wasn't for PS2. It was for SNES. Evo for the Evo I'm talking about is like an evolutionary game. Like you evolve your character and shit. That's the Evo I'm talking about. I forget what the subtitle is. It's like Evo 4.6 billion years of something. I don't remember the name of it. That's the problem. So I don't want to mislead you in false naming something, but I just can't remember what the name of it is. There's two versions of it. There's one on the SNES and there's one on the PC, which never got translated. I think they have a fan translation for it. Alright, that's the way forward. I think one of these rooms has a fairy in it. Yep. Love old games because we can go back and actually challenge ourselves, unlike today. Yeah, but that game is ridiculously difficult. Like, don't get me wrong, I like challenge, right? I'm not saying every time I play a game I want to have my ass kicked in. But, you know, like, I like challenge for the most part. I like being able to strategize and overcome through smart play more than anything else. Because if you're just torturing yourself and playing something difficult for difficulty's sake, I mean, are you really having fun? Or are you just intentionally, like, you know, I use the word challenge, but are you just intentionally making yourself miserable just so you can get through something really hard and say you did it? Like, when I did the Resident Evil run, and I actually completed it, because I'm not a speedrunner by any measure at all. And I'm certainly not, like, super knowledgeable on every mechanic in Resident Evil 1. The remake specifically, but when I was able to put that together, I felt really like accomplished of myself, and that's why I feel really fucked up that like I don't have a version of that video that isn't like either delayed or anything. And if I had had more knowledge and time to fuck around with OBS before just going live one day, it would have been a much better stream just overall, because I would have accomplished more, I would have learned more, I would have had a video of it. Because if I had that video and it was still good, I wouldn't fucking bother to redo it. Because it is work. And it is luck. And I don't like to rely on luck at all. Today they play the game, they interrupt the gameplay with story-based narrative and cinematics. That's fine, but what I really hate is when they literally point out what you need to do. So there's no element of figuring it out. And like, don't get me wrong, I know I'm the first one to get stuck on weird puzzles in games. But there is like a degree of... Oh, nice, I got all of them, I think. There is a degree of, like, problem solving I like in video games, you know? I enjoy it. I think it makes the games more interesting. Like, there's a bridge between, like, player accessibility and ease of play and challenge that I think a couple of games really do well. Like, Zelda games kind of get it. Half-Life kind of gets it, even though Half-Life might be on the easier end. But, like, there's a certain amount of it that's kind of cool to challenge yourself. And then there's a large chunk of it that's kind of not cool at all. It's just either too easy, and that's usually what they err towards, is too easy, because you want to make your games appeal to the lowest common denominator. I mean, when the average person is basically like a League player, I mean, you know. Oh, fuck. I don't know why I think that one turns right at all. And the average person's like a brain-dead League player who only really knows how to play League just because it's free and everyone played it a couple years ago. And it's like a popular streamer game. I mean, for the most part, like, you can't have super challenging games. That's why Dark Souls existing is kind of like this weird, like, timeline shifting event. Because I feel like in any other timeline that follows this one, Dark Souls got completely shafted and destroyed for being too difficult. And I'm sure if we go back, there's someone who wrote their review on some website or something like, oh, Dark Souls sucks because it's too difficult. And it's just been buried by the sands of time and we're never going to find it. Let's see if I can get this first try. Oh my god. Got it. Alright, this one's actually permanent because it's a golden fairy. So we don't have to worry about it. Technically, if you do this first, the rest of the level becomes easy. But it's not hard to see where they got the idea for, like, alternate breath abilities from for Spyro. I mean, it's like... Oh, okay. It's like in Metroid, you know, you get the alternate beam upgrades and stuff. It's the same thing. It's like, oh, well, now look, Spyro has multiple things, so enemies can have different weaknesses and stuff. You expend bigger ammunition. But really all it was kind of just like bootleg Ratchet and Clank mechanics. And I feel bad, because I feel like they did try. And there's not too much they could have done, but a lot of them they did try. Alright, we have like 4 levels to go. It's Jacques, Nork Cove, no, I forget, Nork Harbor. It's something like, it's the 2 Nork levels, and then we're done. It only gets uphill after you complete all the Speedway levels, because Speedway levels are obnoxious. It's just really Wild Flight. Wild Flight's really just, I don't know. I guess it's true to its name, right? And then we end at a nice 117%. And then Spyro 3 ends at 120. And the only reason it gets to 120 is because once you get to the super bonus world, you get basically 20,000 extra gems or something. It's ridiculous. The whole point of it is just to go nuts. So they make you do all these crazy mini games and stuff. Which, like I said, you know, as a farewell to Spyro for as far as Insomniac is concerned, I think that's pretty cool. It's a little sad. I mean, now, what does Insomniac even make? Fuse? Fuse was that was another 2013 game. 2013 was probably like one of the last years where like small companies released just games based on weird ideas that they had. Because after he didn't shrink. Okay, whatever. Hard games are a risk because controls aren't cheap. They run you 70 or 80. That's exactly how I feel about Devil May Cry. It's like, I like Devil May Cry, but I don't want to risk... What the fuck? Do you see this dude? I don't think he's supposed to do this. I don't think he's supposed to fire it that quick. That's interesting. But yeah, no, like, every time I play Devil May Cry, like, I death grip controllers. I've broken a ton of controllers playing Devil May Cry and Final Fantasy XIV. And a lot of it just comes down to the fact that controllers are just kind of brittle. I mean, I still play with the same GameCube controllers I played with years ago, with little to no problems. And, like, even this one, I'm wondering, like, is it the B button? Is it the stick? Is something wrong with it? Like... Yeah, I have a controller 2 years, problems already start to show up, and now everything's $70. It's like, well, I don't even know if I want to use the controller anyway. But I mean, ultimately, if you don't use it, then you're kind of wasting your money for it, aren't you? Alright, I kind of hate this stage because you legitimately have to go multiple ways. These guys kind of actually look like hunters, by the way, from Resident Evil. You have to go multiple ways in order to complete this stage. And I forget which is the best one to do first. I think it's this side. It might be, right? I don't remember. Maybe they are based off hunters. I'm guessing the fool that lowers that is on the other side. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you lower that, and then you lower this. Or rather, raise it, I should say. But, like, did it feel rewarding to beat Resident Evil 1 with a knife only in under 3 hours without saving? Hell yeah, it did. It felt good to prove the theory that you can get the knife achievement and fire the rocket at the end, because there was a lot of misinformation on GameFAQs when I was researching that said you can't do that, and that's totally not the case. You can like, even if that was the case, you could still beat the game. You just wouldn't be able to save your teammate at the end of the game, because saving your teammate, they automatically activate the self-destruct button, and I'm not sure how that plays out for Chris. Honestly, that's why I'm glad I did it as Jill, because it was just easier to carry more stuff. Like, yeah, Chris has more health, but ideally you shouldn't be getting hit anyway, because just getting hit, all it's going to do... What does this even do? Oh, I see. Getting hit, like, it's only about 400 hit points. On very easy, it shouldn't really give you much trouble. And I feel like at least the knife, like, I don't know if Chris does more damage with the knife per se, but at the minimum I feel like you're kind of getting more effort out for, or more reward for your effort, because carrying those 2 extra items is like healing items and shit. Like, I don't want to do this. Oh, this is literally a dead end. I did not know that. Okay. Paying through the nose for controls because of age. They don't make many of these anymore. Yeah, it sucks, but what can you do, right? Didn't do my jump, by the way. I was about to say, if he blocks me off the platform, that's extra levels of trolling. Can you jump? Did I miss something? I feel like you're supposed to fly over to that. I hate this level. Maybe you are. I mean, you don't like paying $60? I thought controls used to be like 30 or 40. I forget how much stuff cost in the GameCube era. And I think that's the biggest problem, is I just don't remember what things were like way back when I was a kid. And that's totally my fault, because a lot of this stuff was like cool back in the day. I was really into it. You know, I used to love getting Nintendo Power every couple of months. It was like, hey, look, you get cool shit just for being a fan. Yeah, this is not it. Now you don't get shit. I mean, now you just get everything from the internet, right? Like, they, instead of releasing a magazine, they just make a video and they just call it a direct and you just watch it and that's it. That's your intimate experience. But I do kind of miss, like, Nintendo Power having guides and shit, you know? I would love for them to release, like, a compendium of all the Nintendo Power issues that they ever released, because I think there's a lot of history in that. You know, they had a guide of Resident Evil 0 in one of them. They had, like, all this crazy shit you could read about. And that's what I really hate, is that none of that exists really anymore. You want to know something about a game, you know everything about it before it even comes out. Because people on YouTube have either gotten early access or something. But it just isn't the same, you know? That's why, like, people, and especially sometimes my friends are like, oh, hey, have you heard about this in this game? And I'm like, no, I have not watched anything. I just knew it was coming out. No, are you fucking kidding me? Oh, I should have gone towards the wall. Most developers give more of a crap about the trophy list than they do about the actual game. We actually had a discussion about this the other day in my Discord. We were talking about how well, basically exactly that they care more about putting in like collectibles after the fact to justify having weird trophy hunts than actually having valuable gameplay for it. And one of the examples I brought up was the Assassin's Creed 1 flags, because the Assassin's Creed 1 flags don't give you anything that I'm aware of. They're just something that you do just as a collectible hunt. It's like the definition of a collectible hunt. And unlike, you know, a game like this where the whole point is to get 100% and to platform it, like, completion of this game is basically like the end of the story is when you get 100%. And I think that's in every game that they have. The end of the story, the true ending, is getting 100%. Whereas for Assassin's Creed, getting 100% does not change the story at all. Like, when you beat Black Flag without doing any optional objectives, you don't get a different ending. You just get basically the trophies for it. And I'm not saying that you have to justify having trophies by putting in stuff like that, but it is one of those things. It's like, well, you beat the game, true, but all you've really done is add on a whole bunch of superfluous items that you just need to run around the overworld and collect. It's not fun. It doesn't really diversify anything. All you've done is just proven that you have the time. He hit me again. I want to be extra safe and not fall off, basically. AVP 2010 was as if they said our game was so shit. Let's put hate into the trophy list because of how much crap we think the game is going to receive. Well, right, now they just do that on Twitter. Now when someone doesn't like the game, they just the developers themselves will come and shitpost on Twitter. That's the difference. Welcome to the modern era. They'll express their disdain not by making you hunt a bunch of weird shit that you don't care about, but just by making you fucking play through a bunch of shit, and then at the end of it all, like, hey, we also just hate people like you who play our game, and we just would rather you didn't. By the way, boss fight. Boss fight. Got the level? Oh, okay. I was about to say. They just throw a bunch of treasure at you. Which is kind of just like the ending of Spyro 2 in general. They just throw a bunch of shit at you for completing shit. I mean, what do you think is worse? Now the trophy lists might be better, but instead you get a whole bunch of like weird shit and meltdowns on Twitter and months of bullshit. You see it more with movies. I mean, Twitter, there's a great image going around that Twitter is 90% of the time someone imagining someone they don't like saying something and then them getting mad at it. and honestly, I think that's probably pretty true. I think that's kind of more or less it.
Well done. Are you ready?
Oh shit, no, I'm ready to go. Alright, this is the last 4 levels of the game. And it's really 2 levels, an annoying as fuck boss fight. It's really only annoying because of the runaround section. But because there's no trophies in this one, we don't have to make him run around 5 times or whatever the trophy was. It's not really annoying, it's more just like, hey, time killing. I mean, like, I've looked at trophy lists for games that I knew were shit, that the developers knew were going to not do well. And they're just, like, these obnoxious fucking farms. And I just would never do it, in my opinion. Like, I generally can look at a game, even ones I like, and I could tell you within about 30 seconds if I want to even attempt all of it. And, like, Assassin's Creed Origins doesn't have a hard platinum at all. In fact, it probably is one of the easier platinums. It's just that I fucked up one part of it, and I just don't want to farm it. And I haven't wanted to go back in years. And I'm gonna do it someday. I'll probably do it after I finish Valhalla, I guess, just as a palate cleanser. With AVP 2010, just because the creators hate their game, don't take it out on the player with obnoxiously stupid trophies like play on hard mode 3 times without checkpoints throughout all 3. Yeah, don't you love it? So what is it? Nork Cove, Twilight Harbor, Nasty Nork, and Nork's Treasury? Or is it Nasty's Loot? I think it's Nasty's Loot. And because we've already 100%ed everything else, as long as we 100% every level, we just go right into Nasty's Loot once we beat Nasty Nork. Spyro 1, again, is the only Spyro game that lets you do this. You don't have to do any backtracking whatsoever. Did I kill him doing that? No. I mean, most of this level is pretty much just loot. This level probably wasn't intended for, like, well, literally its longevity. I don't think it was intended for that, to be honest with you. I think it was just like a cool final way to, like, get to the boss world. I'd love to know how much Crash Bandicoot really inspired this whole series, or at least this one game in particular. Because remember, this came out the same year as Warped. Originally. 98. I mean, Snowman, in fairness, that's why when I was playing Dead Space 3 and I saw the trophy list was to complete the game on hard to the core again, and as soon as I saw that hard to the core in Dead Space 3 is literally, hey, beat the game without dying in one sitting, I was like, no, I'm not doing that. That's not worth my time and effort. I could get, like, if the game was like, beat the game. No, I actually couldn't. You know why? Because EA games are, like, notoriously glitchy. Are you kidding me? I played through Dead Space 3 once. In that one playthrough, we encountered so many weird glitches, bugs, badly designed parts of the game. Climbing the mountain was a fucking disaster and a half. Why am I gonna torture myself just to get a trophy list? Like, I like the game. I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. Another one of those 2013, like, hits. But I'm not gonna sit here and torture myself just for the sake of a fucking trophy. It has nothing to do with time. Because I could do it. I could sit here for hours, for years, and eventually do it. But is it worth it is the bigger question. Would I enjoy it? No. Absolutely not. Especially when there's online trophies. Like, forget it, man. I don't even bother with online trophies. I did it for Battlefield Hardline because the online trophies were pretty reasonable and not terrible. I think the worst one was the one Men's in the Hood or whatever, where you have to use the double barrel and the MAC-10 to get kills, and those had, like, reasonably long unlock trees to get to it. And after that, I was like, well, fuck it, there you go, that's all I'm gonna do. I mean, think of all the hours of Battlefield 4 that I played. I didn't fucking platinum that game, or rather, on the 360, I didn't get all the trophies. And now, with Steam games, it's just like, games on Steam, like, yeah, you could get all the achievements, but does it really matter? That's why, like, I used to want Nintendo games to have achievements, but now I'm kind of glad that they don't. Because they'd put, like, dumb requirements into, like, Breath of the Wild to 100% it or some shit. Red Dead Redemption comes first place in online free-for-all. Yeah, it's fucking stupid. They act like people are going to be playing these games for 20 years. I think a friend of mine just boosted it. And I don't blame you for boosting it. I mean, who the fuck wants to do that? It's not reasonable. You gotta be like one of the top Red Dead players in the world for some shit like that. Or at least better than 99.9% of the other people on the community. And that's the problem with online achievements, is that after a couple of years, they're just impossible to earn. You just can no longer earn them. people, especially when the games are not like long-lived, like they're just gonna disappear. Like, who the fuck is still playing like base games on some of these consoles? And that's the truth of the matter, is no one is. They shut down a lot of the servers. I think literally just this past week they shut down the servers for some of the Call of Duty games, if I'm not mistaken. Although, to be fair, I don't know if Call of Duty had many online-only achievements. And I feel like it hasn't. Which is to COD's credit, because why the fuck would you do that to someone? Alright, cool. Red Dead Redemption come in first place in a row. Yeah, you have to be top of the team 4 games in a row. Like, I don't even think people in Call of Duty reliably do that. You want to start talking about people doing this in fucking Red Dead Redemption? A game with a literal aimbot? I'm pretty sure everyone I know who got that achievement boosted it. And honestly, I can't fucking blame you. You know, they get together a group of people, right? Using their online, what's it called? The online shit. They get together a whole bunch of people, and then they just fucking beat the game. Or they play 4 games in a row specifically just to get people to the conclusion. And honestly, I don't fucking blame them. I mean, it doesn't make the achievement any less legitimate, even without it. But, like, why are you going to torture yourself with this shit? Like, yeah, you could get better at the game. But you... Oh, shit. I'm glad I didn't jump into that. I see it. But, like, really? The one achievement I don't have on Resident Evil 5 on both consoles that I have it is beat Resident Evil 5 on Platinum. And the only reason I can't do it is because I can't get past some levels with the AI, with Sheva's AI. I don't know what it is about Sheva's AI, and you have to use the return home portal, by the way. If you don't, it doesn't count as you beating the level. I don't know what it is about Sheva's AI, but she really wants to do stupid shit sometimes. Like picking up items even though there's no reason to. I just never looked up a guide on how to get around that. So someday I'll do it. Could have the Platinum on PlayStation 5, well, just in general on PlayStation 4, and could have the thing, the 360 all what is it, all trophies? 360 all achievements. Like, even Battle for Bikini Bottom, one of the complaints I had about it is you need to buy all the shiny spatulas from Mr. Krabs in order to 100% the game. And they make you grind a shit ton to get it. Like, you could beat the game, and basically the amount that you need is almost akin to not having spent anything to get through the levels. And it's really weird to me that they would do that. Because I think a lot of people have said that that's not even how it is in the original. And I don't think it is. I don't think you had to grind in the original to 100% it. Now, they censored this level a little bit. They used to use actual machine guns and grenades, like actual fragmentation grenades. They kidified it, dude. That's one of them. The gears are here on this version. I don't think you get anything for doing it. I don't even know if I'm going to remember where they all are, to be honest with you. There's 6 of them. I'm pretty sure that's the first one. I made a video where to find them. I think I deleted it. Guide videos aren't my forte. I don't like doing that. I can't teach people. Is there another one in here? No. Honestly, I don't really care enough. It's not required for 100%. They didn't even exist in the original version. Excellent. Then there, I had to get 10 assisted kills in any gang safe house trophy, which means my partner shoots one enemy and I get the kill. Yeah, that was another one I remember. I think it was Sean and Vault Dweller both having to farm out. To their credit, they got people who helped them do it. I mean, like, I can't say it was a waste of time. When you're driven to do something, I mean, shit, man, people are gonna fucking do it. Can you blame them? There's another one in here. Is it right back here? Yeah. I think one is up top as well. Are you serious? He's just throwing them around the corner randomly. He has no clue where I am. Like that doesn't even happen in normal gameplay, is to get 10 assists on a gang safe house. Unless the whole time all your friend is doing is intentionally feeding you. It just doesn't fucking happen. That's what I mean, like, multiplayer achievements are always fucking weird because they're usually either way too easy or way too difficult because the scenarios they outline do not happen in normal gameplay. Oh, fuck. That's why they should just keep it simple, you know? Don't add all these weird multiplayer achievements that literally no one is going to get. And not literally no one, but who is gonna farm this shit? And I farmed a lot of dumb shit in my life. And even I think some of that is just not worth it. And that's the thing about Red Dead's Online, is I actually really prefer Red Dead 1's like open world free roam online, where it's like PvE and you and your friends can have your own private world. You could just ride around, because one of my, oh, look at this, hit it at just the right point. I don't think I have the speed to get up here. I do. Holy shit. And one of my favorite memories on Red Dead 1 is we did the achievement to ride from like Blackwater to whatever the other point of the map is in a single day. I fucking love that. I thought that was fun as hell. It was something unique. It's memorable. I still remember that. I'm just sorry, like everything else from that era, I did not record it religiously. If it was modern day, I would record. If it was modern day, I would record it all. But, you know, that's just how it is. Is he still going up? Yeah, what the fuck? That might be one of the most interesting things I've ever seen. You got some weird fucking glitches. Does it count as him in the air? Yeah, it does. Holy shit. Yeah, the Switch version of this game is bugged to hell and back. So much weird shit happens in this version. It's actually kind of hilarious. I kind of want to just kill it, just for the sake of it. I'm not going back for one rat. Escalera, yeah, that's what it was. See, Red Dead Redemption, when you just play it casually, is the opposite of all that. It's incredibly fun. It's reasonably fast-paced. You know, it doesn't have to be super competitive. You could just fucking farm gang safe houses and just have a good time. Red Dead 1 is truly one of the best games I think I've ever played. In both story, gameplay, multiplayer, everything. Everything about Red Dead 1 is truly a masterpiece. That's what I mean. Like, it's such a good game. It's a shame it's old. Doesn't deserve to be old. Not everything deserves to get old. Really? Yeah, these dudes are fucking crazy. They look like generic enemies in a Steven Seagal flick. No, 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 please. One of the final gears is, I think this is the final gear. I think I missed one. I don't remember where it is. I don't really care. Yeah, I don't really give a shit. Whatever. I'm sure it does nothing on this version. But yeah, no, like I said, I liked riding across the map. It's something unique, you know, you get to see so much. Like, it's a pretty easy achievement, all things considered. It's just basically like 10 minutes of button mashing. But it's fun, you know, you get to do something that you would never really do in any other game. Because in any other game, you just drive, and driving is not the same as riding a horse, of course, in a video game. You get to do something unique, you know, something they just fuck around and they made something cool. And I'm really surprised that with with LA Noire, they didn't do something similar. And I can't for the life of me imagine why they wouldn't. Right? Like, it just wouldn't make sense to you, you know? It's like, hey, you wanna play Red Dead Redemption, basically? Or LA Noire could have had so much more to it. They make this almost photorealistic and incredibly accurate representation of 1940s Hollywood. And then they fuck it all up by not having any multiplayer, any reason to really explore the city. Like, you could just play LA Noire going from point A to point B, and that's it. And then you could just be done with the game, and you've already seen 99% of the game. That's another game, actually, I should have brought up that has pointless fucking side quest shit. Like, you can free roam later and finish up the different jobs, right? Like the different random police events. I forget what they're called. But once you do that, I mean, fuck, why you want to fucking grab every film reel in the game? Like, does that even sound remotely fun to you? It's basically like, hey, we took the time to make this game world. Instead of finding unique ways to put content in that game world, fast kill, by the way. Instead of finding ways to put unique content in that game world, all we did was just make it so you had to run around the whole fucking game world. That's not good. That's not unique. That's not fun. Like, yeah, you get to see cool sights. It's probably the most accurate representation of 1940s Hollywood, I guess. A very iconic part of American history. Oh shit, I actually had no clue where I was going for half a second. He kind of sounds like Bowser doing this. Because I think they used Assassin's Creed Unity to try to restore that famous, was it Notre Dame? I think it was Notre Dame had a fire like a year and a half ago. And they used Unity because they had specifically, like, really investigated what made Notre Dame look as unique as it did and stuff. So credit to them on that. I mean, like, yeah, that's one cool thing about video games. But at least Unity had, like, an open world element to it. LA Noire did not. And LA Noire is very much like a linear-based game, honestly. That doesn't mean it's bad. Oh, look at this bullshit. You actually have to... You kind of have to do 2 laps, then. Because there's no way I'm going to catch up to him after that. After this. And honestly, I would love for Spyro 4 to have all 3 of the big bads team up. You know, I think that would be kind of a cool thing to have happen. Yeah, he's just going to leave. As I said, even this is not really a boss fight. Yeah, LA Noire's trophy for driving all cars. Just literally entering a vehicle and then exiting. That wasn't that terrible that I can remember, though. I don't think I have it. It just doesn't sound very terrible. Alright. Cool. He has a big wait period. I just want to make sure I have all the gems first, because once you go this way, you can't come back. At least once you start the jumps, you can't come back. You're basically on a timer. Goodbye.
You're the toast, Nork.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed 2 was another thing I brought up. Like, hey, if you want to beat Assassin's Creed 2 and get all the feathers, then you get a cape And all the cape does is it constantly puts you on permanent high alert. It's like, what's the point of it then? I mean, like, technically it is a reward. I mean, it's not a good reward. You would think they would give you a cape that lets you never gain notoriety. And you would think that they would let you new game plus it, right? But they don't. It's just like, hey, thanks for 100%ing the game. Because I did 100% the achievements for Assassin's Creed 2. It's like, hey, thanks for 100%ing the game. Your reward is something that would hinder your gameplay and make it really obnoxious. That's your reward, basically. Alright. This guy only appears when you've 100%ed it.
Nasty's ancient history now. So, what's in there?
I believe
No, this shows up whenever you actually beat the game, yes.
only open if you have found everything in the Dragon Kingdom. Come back when you have reached 100%.
Like right now. He is 100%, which is hilarious, by the way. Alright, cool. Because, like, the whole point is, like, if you're gonna make someone do this obnoxious long-term fetch quest, you generally want to give them something that makes their suffering in time feel, like, worthwhile. Giving, like, I don't know what you get from Assassin's Creed 1 for getting everything. Probably isn't worth it at all. You probably just get a nice little achievement, and they're like, hey, this was totally worth it, right? And it totally was not. Like, that's probably what you get. Congrats. Thank you for playing. Really, that's it. Like, thanks for playing. Here's your achievement for getting all, like, 1,000 Masyaf flags or whatever. At least with Assassin's Creed 2, like, you technically get something. Is it really something great that you get? No. And I don't know what you get for the other games, honestly, because I didn't do it. Because I stopped 100%ing Assassin's Creed games because they're generally not worth it. Most of these fucking games aren't worth 100%ing. Got it. Metroid games usually aren't worth it unless you're going for a special ending. Which, I mean, at least I'll give credit to Metroid for. Like, I enjoy getting the extra, whatever, scenes of, or whatever. Like, that's kind of cool. I think Prime 3, I actually, when I did the playthrough on it, at this point, almost 6 years ago, it was like 5.5 years ago. Like, yeah, when I did the playthrough on it, I 100%ed it, because they have an item in a room in the game that shows you everything that you're missing. So at that point, it's like, it's a no-brainer. Why would I not 100% the game when they clearly tell me everything I'm missing? Ah, fuck. Got it. It's got to be worth it, ultimately, to do all this shit. And half the time, it's not really worth it. So, what? Oh, I think that was my headset. Is that my headset? Or is the game audio cutting out? That's really weird. I never look over fast enough to confirm it either. Is that really all we get? Alright, these oh no, I could have had him right there. Are you serious? These plane chases are actually kind of shit. What did I hit? Oh my god. Please. This was probably a for fun level they couldn't fit anywhere else. Maybe. I'm gonna go with that lore. I feel like it's just better to cut him off, obviously. I'm a fucking dumbass. Like, I legitimately want to learn how to do some other PS2 era platformers. That's like the next, like, era of my life I really want to do. Ratchet and Clank had a trophy called Careful Cruise. We must traverse the underwater section of Drex Worship in 1 minute without getting hit by anything and before the generator restarts. I didn't play Ratchet and Clank 1. At least not fully. So, actually, Snowman, I never finished the Ratchet and Clank PS4 reboot. because I got corrupted fucking footage, because again, this is before I used OBS. So someday I actually will finish that. That'll be the crown jewel on this upcoming Ratchet and Clank marathon I'm planning for literally no reason. But yeah, no, I guess you have to unlock this, because the rockets are not all properly aligned. Because I have most of the Ratchet and Clank games, I'm pretty sure. I have the trilogy, and I have a couple other ones. I'll actually look on Wikipedia after today, just to see what I'm missing. Killzone was another one. Resistance was another one. Because remember, I got my PS3 in anticipation of Versus 13 and the Tales games and shit. I didn't get it for all these other random PlayStation games. Uncharted and all that shit. I didn't get it for that. So it's kind of weird. Like, a lot of people can't believe I never played any of these games. But yeah, I just never did it. It's not what I bought my PS3 for. Like, at all. That's not what I bought it for. It's going to be just this whole era where I play PS3 games, and it's a real shame that the PS4 or PS5 cannot play PS3 games, nor that they've re-released a lot of these games just as packs, because at least Microsoft releases their old shit again. Here we don't even get that, you know, like we don't, they don't even bother to give us re-releases of shit. And then with Nintendo, it's like, well, you gotta pay extra to get some of it, which is, I mean, I guess kind of fair. I don't know if it's $60 fair. I think that's the big point with the Mario Galaxy, or the Mario 35 collection, is that they, first of all, skipped one of Mario's big fucking adventures, which was Galaxy 2. They just flat out didn't have it on there because of time constraints, which is still kind of a lame reason. I mean, again, partially pandemic related, I'm sure, but it would have been cool if they had figured out, you know, maybe a year or two ago that, hey, let's get this already done and ready. I just think they weren't prepared. They weren't prepped for it. Oh, we're done, actually, by the way. Because now you can just fly to the end of the level. That might be the fastest I've ever done this. So we get a nice big path, all 100, and then we entered. They changed this. It's motivational posters in this version. It's really weird. Basically, he leaves his fucking thing open and he's got love letters. I don't know. It's really weird. Imagination rhymes with devastation. Knowledge is the power to turn dragons to crystals. That's it. There you go. Practice, it's not about being the best, it's about destroying everyone else. I mean, that's not wrong. Confidence, there's nothing standing between you and your goal. I like that. I like these. Are motivational posters even things that people do anymore? Like, that was like a 2000s meme, because then they made demotivational posters. That was like early memeing. Yeah, we're done. Avoid spinning electrified fans, moving robot spider lasers, and underwater sea monsters for 1 minute.
Spyro the dragon.
Yeah, don't you have to get all the skill points in a row without resetting the game? That sounds like fun.
How do you feel? I feel fired up, Bob. And I'm happy for the dragon world, of course. I certainly wouldn't want to spend the rest of my dragon days butting heads with Nasty Nork and his weird minions. What's a minion? Never mind. You know what they say. For every good battle, you need a good adversary. And I felt that Nasty, in spite of his misguided nature, was a worthy opponent.
There you go.
Uh-oh. Here we go again.
I wish you could unlock glasses, Spyro. And in like a new game plus on like other save files. That would be kind of cool. That would be like the one thing I wish you could get. Not in a row, it's cumulative. I thought you couldn't go back and get earlier skill points, is what I mean. Like, you need to get every skill point in the game in a row, basically, in one save file, and you can't, like, go back to old levels to get it. Because I think we talked about this at one point. Oh, they don't play the credits? Alright. Well, if I was actually able to beat this game without dying a whole bunch, I probably could have gotten like maybe how many times did I die? I don't even know. 60 lives maybe. 5 hours or more to 100% most of this. That's hilarious. I think I'll start Spyro 3. Spyro 3 will probably take me 3, maybe 4 streams. Technically, there's 5 worlds. There's really 4, but technically there's 5 worlds. You can also do the thing where you beat the first 3 worlds pretty much completely, and then you run back and you can go beat the sorceress right away. Because you only need 2/3 of all the eggs in the game to open her door. Which means that you can get through it pretty easily. How long is this stream? It's like 2 hours. I'll play this for just a little bit. Only thing I miss is they took out the Atlas guidebook flipping. That's like one of the things I did like. It's kind of crazy how they stole the plot line from this game and put it in what was the game? Like Season of Ice, I think it was. They took all the fairies. If there's cheats for Season of Ice, I'll probably use them. I don't particularly care much for beating it perfectly. What I would like is if those games someday got like a 3D remake. I would even like it if it was just a fan game, but I would love for Toys for Bob to remake those games. Doesn't have to be right away, obviously. I think they understand Crash is the bigger of the two, and that's fair. But I would love for Season of Ice, Flame, and Attack of the Rhinox to be full 3D games. But that's the thing, how do you even convert a GBA 2D or 2.5D isometric game into a 3D game? It would just be a complete remake from the top down. This is at least just a remaster. I mean, I consider this to be a remake, given all the stuff that they added in it. I feel like this also looks different. It might be the water. I think the water looks different on this version. While I'm collecting 1 million bolts for a trophy, which is a grind like no other. Yeah, that's why I don't do it. I used to be a big trophy hound. I still am if the game has reasonable trophies, I feel. But other than that, I don't bother, man. I'll be honest with you. It ain't like it used to be back in the day. I think Spyro 2 just had the best feel, if that makes sense. I don't know if that does. You could have, like, enemies in the overworld. They brought that back in one Spyro game. I don't remember which one. What? How did my thing get delayed? Oh my god, this game is... it's some weird shit, I don't know. Kind of almost want to go back to an external capture card someday. Just something I can plug and unplug. Why did 5th and 6th gen games have such difficulty putting checkpoints in them? It was intentional by design. They didn't want to have checkpoints in the game. Because when you have checkpoints in a game, you beat it faster, generally speaking. Because you don't spend as much time redoing old mistakes. So a lot of the reasons why old games didn't have checkpoints was because it upped your playtime the more times you died. It would keep you playing the game for longer. Like, imagine a game like Resident Evil, if it had checkpoints every, like, room or two, what would you really lose from dying? You wouldn't lose anything. So that's why it's kind of like, you know, they have the typewriter system. In addition, it kind of removes the survival horror element of the game. It removes the survival nature of it, when at any point you can just, you know, fucking have a checkpoint. It removes the fear of dying. It's also kind of hard because the game needs to store your last save point, basically. And as the technology got better, as game design changed, it just made more sense. I'm no super video game historian, but I can tell you that it was definitely something along the lines of the game has to remember where you are and figure out what kind of checkpoint to put you in. They have to make sure you don't get dead-ended into a bad checkpoint, like where the game is soft locked because you can no longer progress. I mean, yeah, stuff like that. What good is a checkpoint that soft locks your game, really, you know? And the answer is not at all. It's no good. It's a waste of time. $250. How much do you need for Sheila? 400?
Spyro, the sorceress has asked me to go.
300. I think I could just buy Sheila right away, right? I don't think you could do this anywhere else in the game. Maybe you can. I could be wrong.
I see an egg at the bottom.
Okay. I got a special task for Sparks. So, I mean, I miss the good old days when games were just simple. And I know I sound like a boomer, and this statement could apply literally to anyone of any age. But I just feel like now they're just, it's different. It's marketed not for people who really like it for the sake of liking video games. It's more just for people who, you know, they can profit off of it. I mean, look at the Call of Duty skill-based matchmaking bullshit. That kind of shit inspired the trophies that require no checkpoint runs. I mean, there's nothing... It depends on the game. I think Dead Space 2, with its hardcore achievement, was reasonable. You have 3 saves. The game is, you know, roughly like 5 or 6 hours long. You can pick where you put your saves. And the smart thing to do is, you know, then you could optimize, like, what are the trouble spots of the game where you're likely to die. And from there, you know, you could go on. Like, when a game is longer than 2 hours or 3 hours, you get to the point where dying, you know, having a no-death run of it gets kind of ridiculous to ask of a player. Especially, you know, like, hypothetically, if the game had no glitches, then add on glitches, and then ask them to sit around for 8 hours to do it. I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, you could still probably do it. It's just obnoxious. It's a little bit too much to ask of a player, I feel. What did I miss, actually? I'm talking too much. I'm drying myself out. Nothing too wrong with trophy runs. It's just that when you ask too much of it, it stops being fun. That's not it. Oh, it's literally at the beginning. Oh, shit. Yeah, these overworlds don't loop. At least this one doesn't, which is kind of weird. Usually they do loop. Just so you won't have to do all this. Is it behind the stupid portal? I've missed this one before, for sure. What am I missing from this? Learn... Oh, you actually have to learn gliding. Gotcha.
Yo, Spark!
Yo! 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 The unfinished one had a trophy called Minimalist. No more than 3 blobs of paint. I mean, who the fuck wants to... I know what game you're talking about, too. I was like a 2010, like, artsy style game that they had going on PlayStation. And I liked it and all. But I didn't play it. I didn't play any of those early PS3 games. Probably own it. Maybe on like Plus if I ever reactivate it. But I'm probably never getting PlayStation Plus again. There's no point. What am I going to do with it? I'll probably do Sheila's Alp and call it. We did kind of play a lot.
Thanks again, Spyro.
I know playing as Sheila is a little bit weird in this game. Again, because it's hard to describe. You definitely have different physics in this game, for sure, compared to Spyro, the original Spyro 3. Like, I'm pretty sure this game, the original Spyro... No, go away, shut the fuck up. Pretty sure the original Spyro 3 was not like this at all. You actually have gravity and shit, like realistic style gravity. This could be the COD engine for all you know. I like how they actually gave Sheila hair in this version. Because Sheila didn't have hair, and one of the funniest things I've ever seen from someone in regards to this game is that they said that original Sheila looks like a crack addict compared to this Sheila. And on one hand, I'm like, wow, that's fucked up. But on the other hand, I'm like, that's fucking hilarious, because she always looked kind of weird in Spyro 3. I don't know what it was about original Sheila. But I also feel like the kick in this game is weaker. Like, it's not as in your face. I'm sure the animation is just the weird part of it, and not the actual hitbox, but, you know. Yeah, the entire world is white paint, and you have to use blobs of paint. I ended up earning this with 2 blobs. Well, that's good. So basically, you just memorize the fucking game, which I'm sure is... I mean, congrats. To me, that just sounds like a lot of memorization. I just, maybe if I was younger, I would consider doing shit like that. But as it is now, I'm probably never going to do that. But you're a trophy hunter through and through. I mean, you still trophy hunt shit that I don't even could dream about doing anymore. I just could not even imagine doing some of the stuff you do. Like this AVP shit, man, I would have never done that. But I'm telling you, they are going to shut down the servers for a lot of Xbox 360 and PS3 in the next year or two. If they're shutting down the Call of Duty servers, like Modern Warfare 2, they are going to have no problem shutting this shit down in a little bit. Like how he was opening a door. What? Okay. I mean, you could definitely tell this was like peak Spyro a little bit. Because you like, this is like a World 1 level. And we're already getting like hundreds of gems a level. We're gonna need those for later. It's the mini games in this game that get annoying. What is this? Okay, thank you. Unfortunately, we can't clear every map right away off the start. I'm gonna schedule another Spyro stream for the immediate future. I know we have the Double Okami streams coming up, but I'm really looking forward to this one. Like, I am absolutely... It's fun. It's nice to play through some of these games. Like, people, you know, you should play games you like, right? Well, this is a game I always liked. I never hated it. What did I miss? Is a good question. I feel like it's something I always miss. Did I, like, forget something by the waterfront? Oh, yeah, thank you. Alright, very nice. Oh, it shows you total gems when you're in a level. Okay, that's interesting. Alright, how Bobby get home? Bobby! Peter and Billy.
Thanks for the help.
Cool. All right. And she just kind of freeze frames off. She just freeze frames off screen. You gotta love it. I think what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna try to do 2 worlds a stream. Might not get through that. I might try to do like, I'll see. I know definitely next stream I'm gonna beat Sunrise Spring, and then start midday, and then maybe midday, and then it'll be like 4 streams. It'll be like basically this month we'll do 4 streams of Spyro. All right. Well, that's it for the stream. When you earn trophies, you are effectively destroying the hate developers put into their game. I don't know about that. I think that a lot of these are just put in just because they need trophies, they want to hit a limit, and they want to have something so that people could spend a lot of extra time if they really like it. But that's why I don't think a lot of games do it anymore, because I don't think people are willing to put in that kind of time and effort for every single little random game that they may or may not like and want to play. I think people stop doing that. Exactly because it's the definition of tedium. You know, instead of doing meaningful content, you just kind of end up doing repetitive bullshit that even you don't find fun. I don't find it fun. I don't think you consider those Red Dead trophies fun. I don't know, maybe you do. I certainly don't. I think they're the epitome of just shit. It's terrible. Stuff that doesn't actually happen. It's not realistic at all. It doesn't test how long you can play the game. It doesn't really test your skill too much. All it does is it tests like how much patience and time and luck you have. And maybe skill is somewhere in there, right? But to get assists, you have to hurt an enemy, or what is it? Your friend has to wound them, and then you have to kill them. That basically means that your friend kind of has to not be good, or has to intentionally be feeding you. And I don't know about you, but that sounds pretty fucking lame to me. So, in any event, if I love your game, I'll earn all trophies. For the most part, I agree with that. There's a lot of games I like I won't earn all the trophies for, and a lot of games I don't that I do. So, I mean, it depends. It's literally on a game-by-game basis and how well the game is made, how fun it is, how quick it is, how much time and effort goes into it, that sort of thing. But I'm going to peace out now, Snowman. Thank you for stopping by. Miranda, who was here earlier, thank you for watching the stream. And I hope I'll see you guys tomorrow. I don't even know what tomorrow's stream is. Were they on YouTube? Yeah, they were. More people show up on YouTube than Twitch. Twitch is kind of fucking dead. Tomorrow's Okami. And then Pokemon, and then Okami, and then Emerald, and I guess whatever the 7th is, I'm gonna schedule... What day is the 7th? Thursday? I'll see. Maybe I'll do it on Saturday, like a week from now. Yeah. Peace out, Snowman. Have a good one. Sound clips? Yeah, sure. Sound clips.
And I want to
Good
die
night.
too. Oh, yes. I want to die.
Because I'm a stud. I'm ballsy. I don't take no shit from anyone. I smoke my stogie anywhere I want. I don't have to find a hideout place like you.